Here's the latest update that is coming in, that there's a cabinet meeting of Siddaramaia's minister scheduled for 11 a.m. today, where he will be taking stock of the situation. Let me go across to our reporters who are joining us this morning. First, going across to Pratibha, who is in Bengaluru. And Pratibha, you're at the spot where our another reporter, Rohini, was attacked yesterday. Goons were rampant, had a free run in Bengaluru yesterday. What is the situation today, and what's the update you're getting from Siddaramaiah camp after he's made an appeal to the citizens? Is normalcy restoring? We can see some traffic movement behind you.
That's right. In fact, some of the private vehicles are really plying on the roads, and there is definitely a sense of calm, one must say. But in the meantime, there is also a sense of fear, sense of tension, whether at all this peace and harmony would last for the rest of the day, because yesterday this is the place where it was the epicenter of protest, it was the epicenter of vandalism, several vehicles that were set ablaze. But right now, extra forces that have been deployed to ensure that law and order would be maintained. So all of them are hoping that this would actually continue. Though there were certain parts of Bengaluru where curfew has been imposed, this location too, where curfew has been imposed. So perhaps this order comes in a tad too late. The meeting, the emergency meeting called by the Chief Minister also comes a tad too late, because it's 24 hours of vandalism that Bengaluru witnessed, and finally there has been some action taken. These are the questions that are lingering in everyone's minds, but then better late than never. That's what one would say.
Okay, Pratibha, be with us, because we understand Section 144 continues to be imposed in Bengaluru. Now, these were the visuals that you saw last evening as well, of how there were almost 70 buses that were set on fire at the KPN bus depot, which is one of the largest bus depots in Bengaluru. It has interstate buses going from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, also connecting Kerala with Karnataka. And these were the visuals that started it all, because you had, there was this Tamil youth who was beaten up, after which we saw a backlash happening in Tamil Nadu, where Kannadiga restaurant were attacked. And this is how it culminated in the evening, where interstate buses were also targeted. Big question, is Siddaramaiah losing grip on the state? My colleague Jugal Purohit gets us this ground report, how things are this morning.
Till about yesterday, this was a part of Bengaluru which very few people, perhaps those in the neighborhood and with some reason to know, knew about this area. But today it is in the national limelight. This is the KPN depot, the images of which shocked the entire country and actually brought to the forefront the extent of devastation, the extent of the administration's complete absenteeism in terms of tackling these protests is concerned. We're here at the site, and you can see that there is normalcy, but it is still smoldering. The smoke still is emanating. The air is thick with that stench out here at the KPN depot.
Jugal is joining me live right now on this newscast. Now, Jugal, we saw those charred remains of almost 70 buses at the KPN depot, and almost iconic images as well, because this is how Bengaluru chose to react yesterday. The path of destruction and violence of public property that was chosen yesterday, now we're seeing the remains of how it is for the Bengaluru residents who are waking up this morning. You've been traveling from the airport late last night to the heart of the city and the KPN bus depot. What's your assessment of how things are this morning?
Well, Devina, what I can tell you is that in the people's minds there is an urge to move on. We saw people are opening the shutters of their shop with some degree of hope, some degree of nervousness, and of course a prayer on their lips. They're saying that they do not want to remain shut. They want to do business only if the government can ensure that they are not harmed. That's the anticipation all along our route from the airport to the town hall, which is the center of Bengaluru.
With us, appeal for calm coming from also Mallikarjun Kharge. But here's the big question: if Siddaramaiah is losing grip on the state, because what's the reaction to deploy security forces delayed, and cops were far less in number than the mob, which was in Karnataka yesterday. Now it's 765 km where Kaveri travels from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. There's a water sharing agreement between the two, including Kerala and Puducherry. But there's been a shortfall in the rainfall. That's where the situation irrigation lies, 39% shortfall, leaving 42% irrigation tanks dry in the state, and that's why reservoir level is current year is about 31% in Krishna Rajasagar Dam. Reservoir level in last 10 years has been 86%. This shortfall has led to a severe water crisis, what Karnataka is been claiming. My colleague Ashish is joining us from around Krishna Rajasagar Dam. Also, we've seen how there were violent protests around the area. Ashish, what's the situation? How are Kannadigas reacting today? We can see some movement behind you. Can you take us through what's happening on the roads? Are people coming out freely today?
Devina, I'm in Mandya city, it's headquarters here of Krishna Basin regions of Mandya district. I wanted to show you something. You can see behind me, this is a poster. It happened to be a poster of Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, and the status, the situation of this poster says million things. It is clearly showing the anger of the people. This poster was vandalized, this poster was damaged by the angry protesters here in Mandya. Right now situation in this Mandya city is calm. Security deployments, police personnel are on road. They are doing patrolling. They are just maintaining vigil across the street as well as the main roads. Right now, situation in this particular city, Mandya city, which happens to be which is situated in Krishna Kaveri Basin region. It is the heart of this region, and right now situation is calm. If we talk about this particular Mandya city and the surrounding of the Mandya, why protest is happening here? Basically, this particular district is a sugarcane growing. The farmers here grow sugarcane, and sugarcane, as you know, and as our viewer knows, sugarcane needs gallons of water, and that's why after Supreme Court verdict, they are showing anger against the state government. They are showing anger against the neighboring Tamil Nadu as well as the Supreme Court. But right now, situation is under control. We spoke to the police personnel here. They are saying they are maintaining vigil and situation. They are trying to bring situation under normalcy here in Mandya.
Ashish, it was significant when you were showing our viewers the visuals around the area. You also had a police van deployed at Mandya. Interestingly, Jayalalitha is from Mandya, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. We take a very short break out here, but stay with us because we continue getting you more update with Ashish, Pratibha and Jugal on the ground. Also getting my colleague Rohini on the other side. The media crew of India Today was targeted by the protesters yesterday. We get you more updates on Kaveri violence and how there are things under control. Today morning looking calmer than what we saw yesterday. From these visuals to the other updates, stay with us. Join us on the other side. Well, as Bengaluru was on the boil, it was India Today which is getting you relentless update. Our media crew was also targeted by one of the goons and protesters on the street. My colleague Rohini Swami and video journalist Madhu were targeted on the streets of Bengaluru. First, we show you the report and then we connect with my colleagues.
Mobs targeting vehicles and shops and then turning their anger on the media. An India Today team covering the protest came under vicious attack. Deputy editor Rohini Swami and camera person Madhu were pushed around and kicked. Rohini Swami was even kicked in the stomach. Their camera was snatched and badly damaged. The men tried to drag them out of the car even as they tried to escape the assault. Just minutes before they were assaulted, Rohini Swami was threatened by this pro-Kannada protester who tried to stop her from filming the protest.
Forming some vehicles on the road. Just we were going near that. They said we don't want any coverage. We don't believe in any media. Okay, please don't cover us.
When Rohini objected, he tried to take her photograph and fled the spot on his motorcycle. Both Rohini and Madhu needed treatment at a hospital after the attack. Fortunately, their injuries were not very serious and they were back on the job. But the attack on the media only showed how the Kaveri cause has been hijacked by street goons. Bureau Report, India Today.
We try and connect with my colleague Rohini and Madhu, but they've been speak to our team and they've said never in their long journalistic career have they seen this kind of violence and this extent of targeting of the media. Because look at this, in 2002, then Chief Minister is S.M. Krishna of the Congress party. Now you have Siddaramaiah. Once again, the Congress government is in power. But Karnataka stand in 2002 when the Kaveri water erupted had been that the sensitive law and order situation prevailed, so we cannot release excess water to Tamil Nadu. In 2016, similar stand from Karnataka for public pressure. But this is what Supreme Court observed, and let's stay on this. In 2002, they said man-made situations to flaunt court order should stop. In a very clear indication that Supreme Court order should be carried out. Water should be shared with Tamil Nadu. In 2016 also, court giving out a strict instruction, disobedience has no space. Citizens can't become law unto themselves. Madhu, my colleague who's a video journalist who was at the spot, is joining us. Madhu, we hope today that you're feeling better, but have you in your long journalistic career ever witnessed this kind and this extent of violence over Kaveri?
Never I expected this type of rampage because the protesters will be peaceful, but yesterday everyone was closing. When we questioned why you are closing, they started abusing us and tried to snatch our cameras, and they said, please come and protest. We don't believe in media. Please come and protest with us. They said, okay, we agree with you, but after that some goons from the back pulled Rohini and me and they snatched our camera and smashed our camera. And they feared that if we cover this violence, so we will be giving this footage to police and will be identified. So that's why they smashed our camera and roughed us.
Okay, Madhu, and we are standing with you here because we from India Today have also been trying to ensure that justice is given out and these culprits are identified. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Madhu and my colleague Rohini were hospitalized after this attack, just going on to show that how it's going to get even more worse as Kaveri water erupts in Karnataka. Never before from 2002 to now, such situation had been seen. Stay with us. We continue talking more about that and getting a latest ground update from different parts of Bengaluru as well on the other side of the screen. Well, Forna security has been stepped up. Almost 15,000 security personnel are on the ground. But these are the visuals that came in yesterday from the KPN depot. My colleague Jugal Purohit getting us this latest report. An update from the KPN depot where over 40 buses were set ablaze by protesters. And interstate buses connectivity today morning still remain a big question.
Till about yesterday, this was a part of Bengaluru which very few people, perhaps those in the neighborhood and with some reason to know, knew about this area. But today it is in the national limelight. This is the KPN depot, the images of which shocked the entire country and actually brought to the forefront the extent of devastation, the extent of the administration's complete absenteeism in terms of tackling these protests is concerned. We're here at the site and you can see that there is normalcy, but it is still smoldering. The smoke still is emanating. The air is thick with that stench out here at the KPN depot.
Charred remains of those buses just showing how Bengaluru was on the boil yesterday. And this is the same city where, interestingly, Parvasi Bharati Divas is going to be organized in January. And that's the Silicon Valley message that is coming to all those who are looking out as this being the India's top IT destination. Many offices were shut. People rushing back home, deserted streets. It almost looked like a ghost town even around metro stations yesterday in Bengaluru. My colleague Ashish is joining us from Mandya, which is another hotbed of protests in Karnataka. Ashish, what's the situation there today morning? And we can see that there is traffic plying on the road behind you. And also take us through if there's been any deployment of security forces there.
Right now we are in Mandya and you can see right behind me is a normal looking life, but an uneasy calm is prevailed here. Police deployment, police buses are here, police personals are here. SP Mandya and other senior officers himself are patrolling in on the road as well as the streets of the Mandya, because this city and this region definitely witnessed the highest amount of protest in last weeks. And right now, however, the local administration is saying us that situation is under control. Police personnel are on road and no untoward incident is happening or happened so far. If we talk about Mandya, of course, the situation is under control. Police personnel are on road and they are maintaining the vigil so that no untoward incident happen here in this district or this city.
Okay. All right, Ashish, be with us because it's interesting that Jayalalitha, Tamil Nadu's chief minister, is from Mandya. And as the politics boils between the two states in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, there have also been a war of letters with each side's administration and state government blaming the other as well. Isn't it time for a joint outreach to ensure peace and calm in both the states? Take a look at this politics over Kaveri water.
The country's biggest water war exploded on the streets of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. As protests took an ugly turn, Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah wrote a letter to Jayalalitha, sought cooperation in maintaining cordiality between the states. Siddaramaiah also appealed to the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister to ensure safety and protection of Kannadigas in her state. Jayalalitha responded soon after, expressed her concern over mob violence targeting people from Tamil Nadu in Karnataka. Assuring her counterpart in the neighbouring state, Jayalalitha said that absolute restraint was being observed in Tamil Nadu by all sections. She guaranteed that no major incidents of any kind targeting Kannadigas have occurred in Tamil Nadu. As both states remain on edge, the centre has assured assistance in handling the law and order situation. The Ministry of Home Affairs said that the situation is being monitored very closely. 10 companies of Rapid Action Force have been rushed to Bangalore. BSF and Indo-Tibetan Border Police companies have also been kept on standby.
Now the curfew is being imposed by the order of the DGP. The 7 police stations are Rajiv Gopal Nagar, Kamakshi Palya, Rajaji Nagar, Magri Road PS, Vijayanagar PS, Vaitram Pura PS, Kingadi PS. 20 paramilitary companies are being deployed. 10 has already come, 10 are on the way.
Even with security beefed up, the situation remains alarming with increasing violence and flaring tempers. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, we had an appeal from Siddaramaiah today morning for all the citizens to maintain calm. But this is how the letter war is also growing, because Jayalalitha yesterday, responding to Siddaramaiah's letter, said situation in Karnataka is alarming. Well, that's a statement that she made, that several instances of Tamilians being targeted. So identity politics once again in play. She said provide security to Tamil-speaking people in Karnataka. Absolute restraint observed in Tamil Nadu. No major incidents of Kannadigas being targeted in Tamil Nadu. Now, this state was an interesting one, the last one, because when she says no major incidents of Kannadigas being targeted in Tamil Nadu is after a hotel, which is an iconic Kannadiga hotel, about half a kilometer from Jayalalitha's residence, was attacked by miscreants yesterday. So today morning, we are looking at calm in both the states and hope that it prevails and hope that this kind of identity politics ends and there could be a joint outreach by all the political leaders. We take a very short break. Stay with us. We continue talking more about what's happening between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, getting you an update from Tamil Nadu as well, how situations are looking this morning.